Welcome to a muzzled chat. We got a repeating guest I'm so psyched to talk to. Why? Because Michael here, the security contractor, the expert, in fact, has a lot to say about the assassination attempt on President Donald Trump. We could say former, we could say futuristic president. We can say what we want because we're unmuzzled.
Yeah,
So let's be
I think
just
it's
that.
still the moniker that he goes by, because once you're president, you've always been president. So
That's, that's right. That's right. Well, you just welcomed yourself in. Welcome, Michael. How you doing today?
I'm awesome, man. How are you?
Man, I'm great. It is great to see you. I kind of wish, it was in person again, but
Yep.
I'm glad to be up in the mountains and out of that valley heat.
Yeah,
So
for
take
real.
that.
Yeah, take that. I'll sit here in the
Take,
heat mountain. So yeah, it's good to see you
well,
again, man.
thank you. Well, sure appreciate you taking the time because this is right up your alley. This is, in fact, what you do. This is your profession. So I would hold high value as to what you have to share here today. I just want to take a minute and kind of express to the listeners how I feel about things. And I personally feel that this is a pivotal moment in history, that things have genuinely changed and we have a choice in this moment in time, because it's kind of a historical moment in time, is to what change in fact is going to take place.
Yep.
And I sure hope it yields unity. I sure hope it yields a clarity for people to understand how there's been this cabal, whatever you want to call it, effectively trying to use the oldest tactics in the book: divide and conquer, divide and conquer.
Yep.
So the more we could set all that down, unite, the better chance we have of ruling out this two-tiered system and this corruption, ensuring a better tomorrow on behalf of all of us. But we got to see past these differences, these polarizations, the actual propaganda, the actual MK Ultra tactics that have effectively hacked people into like highly radical emotional beings.
Irrational.
So
Absolutely.
irrational, exactly. So we have a second chance in innocence right here, right now. It seems to me God showed up, God intervened.
Yep.
And with that, the most important thing for us all to really hone in on and give gratitude towards and focus on is that relation with our Creator. Now, horrifically, right out the gate, there has been loss of life. And our thoughts, our prayers go out to those family members. And wouldn't it's horrific that we live in a country that this even happened. It just is a sickening feeling. I just hope we seize this moment and the second chance we have, so we minimize any of these type of threats from ever happening again. And we can even dive into, if we got time, as to why we even feel people have been radicalized. And I do believe it's like an MK Ultra style tactic that has gotten people ramped up to act out in such evil ways. But I digress. Let's dive into the situation.
Okay.
Let's dive into your expertise. You start where you want to and just kind of walk through the epic failures, because golly, there's so many levels as to this situation that even a child is like, yeah, that shouldn't have happened. The former president shouldn't have bled at all. But
yeah, so many, and there's things to be said about that too, right? Because I mean, how do we know what exactly is true, right? But I mean, we're hearing reports that these guys on the ground, boots on the ground, knew 3 minutes ahead of time, and people in the stands knew, and they were trying to communicate and everything else, which right there, first problem, right? Because anytime you're in a circumstance where there is a credible threat
Right.
or violence against your principal, right? And when I say principal in this conversation, I mean the person that you're protecting, right? So anytime there's a credible threat against violence or the principal, you have to take it seriously, right? That's why there's a team in place. There's a
Right.
team in place, and I'll go over circles with you and stuff, but there's a team in place so that you can have people assess that threat, right? So the first thing that we need to approach here, and if you want to talk about the MK Ultra, or you want to talk about the conspiracy or the cabal or anything else, right?
Yeah.
The first, you know what? Here, I'm going to draw you a diagram, okay?
You know what's crazy? I don't know if you heard, but obviously we're still in a moment in time where we don't want to jump the gun, so to speak.
Right.
It is important to wait, but there's multiple sources reporting that an actual officer in uniform engaged with this gentleman 26 minutes before Trump even went on stage. There's reports that the shooter actually aimed his firearm at the policeman and he backed out of that situation.
Right.
And then the shooter continued on what he was doing. And that just doesn't even compute in my mind, because that right there, like, the event's over. You know, Trump doesn't go on stage. So there's things about it that just don't even make sense. But so we could talk on what we actually know, and to the point that there is credibility to what you already brought up. So many civilians pointing out not just a gentleman on the roof, but that guy's got a gun. There were people in the crowd that literally, there's clear pictures of the shooter with the rifle on the roof. So civilians had the time to do that. And the security detail, the police, the Secret Service didn't have time to neutralize that threat or neutralize it. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Enough for me.
Right. So here, you're right. Let's address what we know. Let's address what happened, right?
Okay.
Let's walk through the problems that occurred during this response, right?
Okay.
I don't know if you can see this, right? But I'm going to draw you a little diagram, okay?
Okay.
So here's your principal, okay? This is the person you're protecting. Now, in every circumstance, you're going to have 3 layers of protection, at least, right? You're going to have the inner circle. These are the people that you see that are closest to the president. This is the special response team, the SRT team, or the CAT team, counter assault team, right? Okay. That's going to be in this circle. Okay. You're going to have an outer circle that they should have built. These are going to be the people that are around the venue or wherever you're at, right? These are the people in cars. These are the uniformed officers, right? That are out there, that have boots on the ground, that have eyes on the streets, that are patrolling around this perimeter to make sure that their only job is, if something is out of place, to let you know something is out of place, right? And that's when whoever breaks off, whoever's responsibility it is, breaks off and figures it out, right? And then the last layer of protection you have is this outer circle, right? Now, this outer circle, these are going to be your snipers, right? These are going to be the people who have eyes from far away. Now, there should be one at every compass point of the actual venue, so that each person can have a clear, overlapping 45-degree view of what's happening, right? So within these 3 circles, if this is set up properly, can you say 100% of the time nothing's going to happen? No. But can you say pretty safely that once you got this thing locked down, none of this should have happened at all, right?
Right.
So now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about what actually happened, right? So, and I'm just Googling, just so your readers know and everything. I mean, if you just Google Trump assassination attempt and pull up images, every image that I'm looking at will be there, right? So
if there's any particular like we'll add a lot of the ones we
Right.
talk about in the description below. So you could also click the links if there's specific ones we're addressing, just to make it easy for the listeners to check out.
Right. So let's talk about what first happened, right? So I'm looking at this picture of when the first shot was fired. Okay. And you've got these 4 Secret Service members that are surrounding Trump. Okay. The first problem that I see with this whole picture, when shots are fired or a credible threat takes action, the very first thing that you do is you put your principal out of the line of sight. Okay. So if you look at this first picture here, you see 4 Secret Servicemen trying to crowd up on Trump. Everybody is standing up. Okay. The entire front end of Trump is visible. Like I can see his handkerchief, I can see his face,
Wow.
I can I can see everything, right? Should have never happened, first of all, right? First thing that you learn in dignitary protection,
Yeah.
when that threat comes, whoever is closest to the principal takes an arm, wraps it around the principal's waist, because you got to understand that person's going to be in shock. They may not have time to react, right? It's your job to react. Wrap it around that person's waist, double them over, and you become a meat shield for that person.
See, I can see you successfully doing that, Michael. You're a stout man. You actually prepare yourself in order to be able to protect in that manner. Looking at the ones surrounding President Trump that day, they didn't seem to have that stature, you know, and we'll get to because you know where I'm going with that. I'm legit questioning.
No.
I mean, can we go there real quick? Do you believe there were DEI hires? I mean, just the amount of women I was seeing in that force, like.
Yep. So here's the problem with that, right? And when I say this, let's already precursor this, right? Because listen, I know some I know some chicks that'll shoot me at freaking 100, 200, 300 yards. You know 100%. What I mean? I know some chicks that are freaking 25% faster than I am, and they'll have a knife twice through your neck before I get mine unsheathed. You know what I mean?
Right, so right.
I'm not saying that these women here weren't able to do what they were supposed to do, right? But they shouldn't have been positioned where they were. Okay.
Right.
If you look at this other picture, man, these women have to be at least, I'm going to say that 6 to 8 inches shorter than President Trump, right?
They're too small.
Right.
It doesn't even matter, male or female. Right. They're just too small of an individual to effectively cover and maneuver a asset.
Right. Correct. So what should have happened was immediately President Trump should have been doubled over. And that person doubling him over is responsible for being a meat shield, is what it is, right? When they crowded him, you don't crowd standing up. There's no point of crowding standing up, right? You crowd in a concave arch, right? Because that principle is under you, right? So essentially, Trump should have been here, and all of the other people should have been here.
Oh, wow. Makes sense.
The person who had him doubled over is responsible for giving him verbal commands. Mr. President, we are going to stay right here for a second until we can find out which direction this threat is coming from, right? Soon as the threat side, whether it's left, right, front, back, is recognized, your job is to head in the opposite direction. Mr. President, slowly walk forward with me. We're going to go ahead and we're going to walk this way. Keep your head down. I'm going to go ahead and direct you. Don't worry about it.
Right? Which should take how long?
About a minute and a half shorter than it took these people to get him off the stage.
Right. Right. Literally, it could have been figured out within seconds.
I mean, we're talking about seconds, 10 to 15, maybe 20 seconds if bullets are still flying. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because again, you got to understand, you're there to absorb those. That's your job. Right. You signed up for it. Okay.
Right.
So he should have been doubled over. They should have coned around him, and he should have been given verbal commands on where to go. At no point ever should he have been allowed to stand up?
Yeah.
I'm looking at a picture right here where he's allowed to stand up and wave. Absolutely not. There is absolutely not. I'm sorry, President. And you fight against that principle. Like literally, if that principle is trying, you say, hey, listen, Mr. President, I'm very sorry. I need you to say right here, right now. And that's where the leverage comes in, because you have their waist and you have the top of them and you push them over. And this is how we stay until I figure out what's going on, right? Until my team tells me either the threat is neutralized or we know where we're moving to, right?
Right.
So in no point in time ever. And then you look at the same picture where he's waving, right? So he's waving. His entire front end is open.
Right.
His chest is open. His face is open. His shoulders are open. The back of his head's open because no one's standing behind him, bending him over, right? So what if there's another right? What if there's another shooter? What if he's working with 2 or 3 other people?
Right.
What happens then? Then you've got a president who's completely exposed.
Wow.
Right? What irritates, well, a lot of it irritates me. My wife, bless her heart, I'm pretty sure she just sat there while we were looking at all this stuff and just nodded and said, yes, honey, you're right. Or like, oh my God, I can't believe what's happening. Right.
Right.
So,
wow.
And then, so before they even escort him off the stage, we've already failed at least 6 times, right?
Right.
Before they even escort off the stage, he's allowed to stop, stand straight up, put his hand up to the American people and say, way to go, I'm still alive.
Fight.
Right.
Which is a pretty freaking awesome moment. I'm not going to lie. Like the kahunas of Trump. That's impressive. I'm not going to lie. Like, talk about patriotic, talk about no fear.
Right.
My goodness. But so it gave us an iconic moment. But then again, that could have been a very devastating moment, like to your point.
What happens if the dude is sitting half a mile away with the freaking 308? You know what I mean? And he's just sitting there. Oh, thank you. You know what I mean? Like what happens if we didn't know that guy was there? Right.
Yeah.
So it's been allowed to happen. So I'm looking at another picture here and I'm going to boggle your mind on this one for a minute. Okay. We're looking at the picture here and I can clearly see through one of the Secret Service members' legs. This must have been when Trump initially hit the ground. Trump's entire profile. I can see his face. I can see all the way up this part of him, right?
Yeah.
This entire portion of his chest is exposed. Where is the protection for the other people that this guy working for in the crowd, right? Yeah. How was a photographer allowed to get close to take a picture of his face?
Yeah.
Because talk about a whole other part of this, right?
Wow.
So if you see, when you're looking at these pictures, right, and you see the Secret Service, those are all the dudes in the suits shuffling, President Trump off. You see all these SWAT guys, right? These guys in all the gear and everything.
Yep.
They're the special response team. Okay. They're the CAT team. Those people's only job is to go direct to threat, right? That if you are on CAT team, your job is to die to make sure that threat is neutralized. If that happens.
With that, let's bring up a point, because I believe there's a big misconception of those individuals needing orders to eliminate a threat.
Yeah.
True or false?
See there, you're right. Okay.
Because for that, go ahead.
No. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I get passionate about security, so go ahead.
Well, from what I've heard, those teams absolutely absolutely do not need any type of permission to delete a threat.
Correct.
Period.
100%.
Period.
100%. If that is my responsibility to be that guy, I am listening to where the shots came from. I am listening to the earpiece for the spotters who are out there telling me where that guy is. And I am moving immediately to that person's vicinity. Because my entire job, if I'm that person on that team, is to make that threat cease to exist,
Yeah.
right? So, but when you see them, they're all walking around the stage, kicking off speakers to give themselves room to get up in the front and everything. That's not what you're there for. But as soon as the shot went off, you should have had communication within the next few seconds of where that shot came from. You should have realized that Secret Service was going to do its job, double him over, cone over him, and start escorting him.
Right.
And if it goes this way from the threat, your job is to go that way.
Right.
Like, they should have formed a wedge around him and started moving the other way to make sure that whatever threat was coming from that side is 100% neutralized. And you're right. If you're part of that team, you do not need any kind of permission to open fire on what you believe is a credible threat.
I say that because once again, there's word and fake grain of salt, because there were those two riflemen or snipers up on a roof that had a bead on this gentleman for over like 42 seconds prior to any shots being fired. And there's a big question as to why wasn't the threat eliminated before shots were even fired. And there's rumor that they had stand down orders. If in fact this is true, this changes everything, because now the question becomes why. And in my eyes, whoever would give such orders should be fully investigated, could potentially even be facing charges for the assassination. So whether or not that is true or not, then if we could get comms, which we should be able to have with time after proper investigations. I'm so sick of the secrecy in this country that is allowing the tyranny to continue to control, because as we, like, they know everything about us, it's all backwards, and we know nothing about them.
Yeah.
Like, then they're able to continue this charade and own the circus.
Right.
It's such a joke.
Right.
So yeah, we should demand in time, because at the end of the day, this is going to end up in, it already is an FBI jurisdiction at this point, no longer Secret Service. So it was like, wow, FBI's lost trust entirely with me. So it may take transparency with the American people even to get to the bottom of this.
Right.
But I digress.
Yeah, no, that's okay. As soon as those spotters, or those snipers, or whoever it was, first of all, as soon as that cop engaged with him, it should have been taken care of.
It should have been. See, that's what blows my mind. Let's actually capture that for a minute. Let's capture that, because with what you discussed on the proper protections and action with the president, and from the civilian, and in that one single officer. Now, I don't know if that's legitimately been verified or not, but how is so many specific details and so many reporting of that interaction. But what we do know are all these bystanders, all these civil or civilians pointing out prior to any shots being fired, just their same firearm, and gentlemen on the roof. Like, there was even that picture taken at that point. In my eyes, no, I don't understand as to how Trump wasn't swarmed to what you just described, escorted out of there.
Yep.
And now it's just a lone gunman with no target. I'd venture to say there would have led to no loss of life other than potentially only the shooter himself.
Potentially only the shooter. Right. Because if that, and it was deemed a credible threat, and that's the Secret Service's responsibility to say, hey, Mr. President, I need you to please stop your speech. We have a creditable threat. I need you to come with me. This is the way. That's it. Right. So, yeah, man, there's so many ways.
I mean, a public venue like this too, with rooftops, if there's certain things they can't even secure. I mean, man, you could get a cheap, a $200 drone and be having that surveying the skies and rooftops and areas and such. Like we're talking about the former president here. How does this lad? So anyway,
Anyway, yep. Because we're gonna go.
To, yeah, because to me, there's enough evidence, and when you really look at it, I'll say it, inside job. There's no way. There's too
Sure.
many factors here that,
Yep.
like, because this is actually on the inside of the venue. So there's
Yep.
supposedly a ladder this kid used.
Remember circles, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
This thing is on the inside circle. Like it's not
Yes.
second layer of protection. Like it's in the
Yes.
inside circle
And that
of
just doesn't happenstance. That doesn't accidentally happen.
right.
And there is footage of one seemingly some Secret Service member that this gentleman, and we'll add it below and we'll label it,
Mhm.
but the guy that talks in it essentially saying, well, there's talk that this is an inside job. Supposedly, this is the footage that essentially proves it. And
Right.
the Secret Serviceman is literally hunched over before any shots are fired in a weird manner. And he's
Yeah.
directing traffic away from where the shots are going to be fired shortly. And as soon as they're fired, he reacts quicker than anyone. Like,
Yeah.
but
No.
hits the ground.
Yeah.
Doesn't pay mind to Trump at all. Hits the
Nope.
ground, and then next time you see him appear, he's kind of behind like a speaker or some type of bin, and he
Yep.
stays there the whole time.
Yep.
Like he's hiding.
Yep. Yeah. No. No. And I know exactly what you're talking about. And yeah, that guy. I mean,
That
look,
doesn't make sense at all to me.
it doesn't make any sense at all. It. So I mean, from a security standpoint, so much went wrong. So much. I mean, like you can't even. When that sniper commander received information that that guy was sitting on that roof with that gun, and it was imminent threat to the former president, that should have been a half a second conversation. Take your shot, and done. Right? It
Yeah,
just should have.
100%.
So many. I even heard, and again, we can go off of this stuff where, oh, what's credible, what's not credible, what's this, what's not.
Right.
Now there's news reports coming out that say they even allowed him to stop and get his shoes.
Right.
They allowed
Like
him
a shoe like popped off or something when they swarmed him.
Yeah, absolutely
And
not. And I'm very
no.
sorry. With me, this is the way that we're going right now. And you just start walking. Like you do not give them an option, right? So I don't understand it. And then there's another picture here where he's leaning on this, one of the women CIA agents, or Secret Service. If there was someone still there to take that shot, you couldn't miss that shot. Like I don't know how you could. I mean, the entire side profile of his head is open. The entire shoulder profile is open. You can absolutely get to a vital organ if you're slightly behind him. Man, like I said, I think after a while, my wife just started nodding her head and she was like, yep, honey. Yep, honey. Yep, honey. And just doing the good wife thing. Cause I was like, listen, I'm up at the TV. It was like the Super Bowl when John Madden was like, well, if this guy goes over here and this guy runs over here and that guy
right.
drawing X's and O's and squares and this guy should have done this and this guy should have been here. And there's no way that they should have even stopped to talk to him on that podium.
Yeah.
Because
right.
You have all legal right, whether he is the former president or not, to tell him exactly what is going to happen. Like
So
I'm not your opinion. That's not how you know what I mean?
I do.
So, I mean, just so much. And then
I get people will say, well, hindsight's 2020.
Right.
But in these type of situations,
right.
These teams, no, right. There's no room for error. There literally is none.
None.
And if you're allowing room, then you're not doing your job.
Then maybe
you're fired.
You know what I mean?
You're not the person for the job. Yeah, 100%.
Right. Like you don't know, when we say all this stuff, and have I been in threat situations? Yes, I have been in threat situations. Have I been in a threat situation that is as imminent or potentially fatal as this one? No, I have not. You know what I mean? Because there were shots fired on this one. And yes, I've had to go direct threat. And yes, I've had to engage. But you don't know how anyone is going to react in a circumstance when they're put in a situation like this. However, with that being said,
Yeah.
even me and my partner and our SRT team and the people that we have in our circle that we do jobs with, the amount of training that we do live with each other in simulated circumstances, in just, let's talk about this lady, you know what I mean, like, who couldn't holster your gun, right?
Right.
So, of course your hand is shaking, you know what I mean? But listen, that gun doesn't go away until you are 100% certain that threat is neutralized. Like, that gun does not leave your hand until you are 100% certain that whatever is happening is done and you no longer have to worry about it. If there is a 0.5% chance that it is not over, I do not care. I am not holstering my weapon. My weapon will stay at the ready until we are done with what we're doing. Until you're in that convoy, and that convoy is now someone else's responsibility, and I'm the man left to find my way back.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then take time and you say, okay, you look, holster your weapon so you don't shoot your freaking self in the daggone leg because your fingers are going through an adrenaline dump. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, as she's trying to do that, I was worrying for everyone around.
You know how many
not just herself, but everyone around. I was like, golly. Like, if I was shooting at the range with an individual like that, I'd be like, range marshal, can you assist this gal over here? Because I'm not feeling safe being in a range.
Yeah.
And that's a security detail. That's what speaks to me, Michael. It just smells to high heaven of DEI because they're not the proper body size. And we know this man, President Donald J. Trump, is probably the world's largest target. I guess you could classify in a sense right now. Yep. I mean, he's the number one leading runner-up for president of this country. He's gone after the deep state. He's made enemies, obviously, with everyone. They've tried to bankrupt him. They've tried to throw him in jail. They've tried to slander his name and, break his character. They've tried everything, and they've even said we could play the talking heads. So now we're kind of getting into the whole MK Ultra type stuff. I could play some of the clips of the talking heads where they literally were calling for just this to happen. Nothing shy of it. And they project. And this is where people need to understand. This is the most important thing to grasp out of the whole ordeal, is that they've been projecting as Trump is a Nazi, as bad as Hitler. They've been projecting all these things that they themselves are fulfilling. They are fulfilling by the definition.
Yep.
And we need to grasp that. So no one should be listening to these talking heads. They should understand that these talking heads are controlled by the very deep state Trump threatened. Mm-hmm. The very higher ups that Trump was going after. And it's from a lot of different angles. Like, Trump heavily, more than any other president, was going after pedophiles and child sex trafficking to end child sex trafficking. And you can see all the connections. It's crazy, from the Epsteins and the lists and everything that it's connected. It's sick. And if Americans actually really knew, no orange man bad tactics would work on you. Let's just say that. But I truly do believe, as a people, we need to understand that there is no one individual that's just going to come in and save the day. And no one is perfect. It takes us as a collective. It takes us seeing past the lies, the deceit, and the propaganda. And once again, this is another situation to highlight evil's war machine between the talking head, false information. They're the ones with the deep pockets that own Facebook, used to own Twitter, own YouTube. And that's why there's all these bans like Instagram. They're censoring speech under the guise of, oh, misinformation, what happened. But they are spreading the misinformation.
Right.
They are spreading the propaganda and lies. And you could either see it through this situation, or you can see it through the pandemic, or you could see it through any hoax they've stood up, whether it be Green New Deal, because they're trying to prey on people's heartstrings, is because who doesn't love Mother Earth? But this whole climate hoax, it's all tied together. It's all the same plan. It's the same infrastructure. It's the same gameplay. War tactics are more probably effective because it's nothing shy of war tactics. It's just different arenas, you know. The particular one's the political arena. The pandemic was obviously more under the health medical arena. Yeah. But we really got to grasp that it boils down to sourcing information. And when you can effectively source your information, that truly will set you free from the chains and the box that we've been put in. They try to tell us now that it's dangerous to ask questions. It's dangerous to use critical thinking. Why?
Right.
What insanity?
Yeah.
Like, and they use these weaponization of words, of conspiracy theories, which was created by the CIA, another 3-letter agency that's corrupt as heck.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to see past it, because the outcome, as we're starting to see the outcome of this,
right?
You can see now truly where the extremists lie once again, where the actual threats lie once again. And I could play clip after clip of individuals on the extreme that are drinking the Kool-Aid of the cult.
Sure.
And they're taking a stance of sad that this kid missed. How sick.
Yeah.
Like, it's demonic. It's evil.
Yeah.
What has overtaken their hearts. Like, I'm now calling it hacked. Quote, World Economic Forum from Klaus Schwab and his puppet Harari, that humans are now hackable animals, that they currently have the technology to control the masses. And it is through biowarfare. It has been through the poisoning of foods, especially here in America. It has been through the manipulation of parasites, and I kind of mentioned biowarfare, but also the MK Ultra tactics. By exposing this, I mean, there's still, luckily, some people aren't too far gone. And there has been a lot of people that have been basically not just jumping ship and shifting sides, but this really has opened their eyes.
Yeah, you know, to your point, and that the American people need to really realize is our attention is being so focused for us right now. Like, what do you think? You think we still don't have enemies out there? Like, what do you think the people in these other countries think about us now? You know what I mean? Like, how does that make us look? They look at us, and it's almost like they're sitting in like a castle court, looking at the jesters jumping around and people juggling, and this one's twirling fire, and you know what I mean? That one's swallowing swords, and we must appear to be such a weak country now that I almost get the sense, and I'm almost starting to get the feeling like they don't even want to put any kind of effort into us anymore. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even have to put any word. They're just like, oh, we'll just let them take care of themselves. It'll be fine. And like, you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You know?
Yeah, I know a lot of, like, especially our Canadian brothers and sisters in other countries, are actually really disheartened and saddened to see what's going on here. In fact, I had a Canadian reach out to me today, thoughts and prayers, and trying to get my input on what's going to happen with Trump and potentially, like, yeah, he's under more threat than ever before, and she's concerned that another attempt of assassination is going to happen, and I feel she's not wrong.
Right.
Like, but there is a part of it where I'm like, we can worry ourselves sick over all of that. We can only do what we can do. And it's important that we educate ourselves. It's important that
Right.
we unite. We seize this moment in time. We seek our creator more than ever before. Because there are so many things about this that stink. Like, apparently the shooter, he starred in a BlackRock commercial dating some years back. So it seems as though there's more to it,
Yeah.
right? This is not some Lone Ranger type, some 20-year-old beat out the security detail at this particular venue.
Right.
I view it that would be ludicrous. He's not some alone actor, that more people were involved.
And I would
And
definitely, and
yeah,
I would agree with you absolutely.
yeah,
Looking at this entire situation,
right.
at just looking at everything, how can you not? How can you not
Yeah.
see all of the things that are wrong? All of the things that are wrong with this situation. How can you not critically step back and take a look? And just like you said earlier, critically think about
Right.
what the heck is really going on here. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think I had it the other day, and you used a great example when we were talking. And it's
Oh
like you're
yeah, the house.
right, and mom and dad are fighting, and you
Yes.
said same time mom and dad are fighting, there's someone trying to kidnap a kid. There's someone an arsonist trying to burn down the house. There's someone
Yes.
burning TV. You know what I mean? But they don't care about that because mom and dad are still fighting. You know what I mean? It's like they're oblivious to everything else. And
Yes.
we turn such a centrally focused eye on all of these shiny quarters or squirrels that they're chucking at us.
Right.
And no one's even stopping to say, hey, wait, you know what, honey? Hold on. I smell smoke.
To any of those, like, to make the correlation, this analogy as a country as a whole. So it's to any of those that are getting caught up arguing with bots or getting caught up over the smoke and the mirrors and everything that's happening. It's as though in their own household, a more obtainable, a more or a situation you can grasp, you can make that parallel from our country as a whole to that family household.
Right.
Yeah, to your point, you take any talking point, any argument, and it's as though you're just that husband and wife in that household arguing.
Yep.
And there's an arsonist outside lighting the house on fire. There's
Yep.
a burglar literally stealing your TV and items as you speak. Your cat is literally getting eaten by the dog.
Yeah.
And but you're just stuck arguing. Someone's
Yep.
stealing your child.
Yep.
Like,
Just
it's a moment to unite.
Yep.
Not bicker. Right?
Right.
It's to address the arsonist. It's to save the cat from the dog. It's time to engage and take necessary steps that's going to secure that household and ensure its foundation and longevity. And
right. I was just gonna say, man, I hope I could shed some light and we could go way further into things, but at least
right.
I always enjoy our conversations, and I hope that I could shed some light on just how many, even just to open people's eyes to how many things
Yes.
just didn't make sense in this entire situation.
Right.
That's the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Just I hope that, like you say all the time, if we can just reach one person, and that one person reaches one other person, and that
Yes.
two people reach two other people. You know what I mean? I hope
that's
this conversation could even just get someone to start thinking.
That is all we could ask for. And it's celebratory for anyone to start thinking for themselves, break out of this box. And for anyone that's kept even that door closed to God, because I could play literally the sheer evil clips that have come after this event. And then we could play the beautiful moments out of this very event. And it shows the spiritual battle we're all faced with. So above all, to put on the armor of God, to allow God into your life, like that, my brother, is the greatest blessing to be had.
Yeah. Yep. Because the battle is not here, man. You're right. It's not Ephesians 6:12, what you were just talking about, dude. It's not, the battle isn't with flesh and blood, dude. It's about realities on high. It's about the evil that walks among us. It's about all of this stuff. And you have to clad yourself every day. You got to clad yourself with the armor of God. That's why it's there.
Right.
Like it's there for a reason, but you're right. That is what this is about, man. People got to start thinking, man. You got to start thinking. And then once you realize, once you start thinking, because I know this is how I was. Once you start, you get angry. You're like, oh my God, this is simple. What in the heck? How in the world did I end up over there? And it's just, man, it's frustrating. But I hope I should have done the security issue.
You did great, bro. Just the sheer basics you even went over. It just, some things really reek that took place. It was egregious. I am happy to announce that, was it today or yesterday? Trump went to this other venue. He had a whole different security detail, and they looked totally different. Okay. It looked like it was filled with a bunch of fellas like you.
Yep.
And bigger stature.
Yep.
Why am I having a problem with that word? Yeah. Yep. Just what is needed for Trump-sized security detail. Right. Let me play a couple clips here, a couple sound bites, because in case for whatever reason, let's say we didn't open people's eyes, this gentleman does a pretty good job. I feel this is a mic drop. It's only 1 minute and 32 seconds. Let's go ahead and play this.
And listen, I'll say it one more time. I'll be bipartisan. President Obama, President Clinton, President George W. Bush, President Biden last night said they did it. They said the people they hate in the process did it. Every single one of them said that. So you don't have to listen to us. But we're not going to stand here and told that we're not seeing what we're seeing, which is what we've been told by the left for years now. The left suggested January 6th was something it wasn't, and was a result of people spewing hate. That's what you all said and continue to say. And when we say, when a deranged, demonic shooter decides to take out the person who you say is going to destroy America, we can't say that maybe you saying that he's going to destroy America has something to do with it. It's common sense. We're going to continue to fight for what's right. We're going to continue to take down this curtain of lies and let the people know that it does matter.
100%.
100%. Agreed.
Yeah, very well said. This gal really impressed me. It's like everyone needs to hear what this young woman said, because she's 100% right. And it is okay to admit that you were wrong and that you were lied to by a very dishonest and malicious media. And it's okay to do your own research.
That brings up another point, man. How many people do you think, just out of pure ego, that just don't want to admit, I was wrong, I'm sorry? Like, we had this conversation last time, you know what I mean? Like, how many people do you think are still over on that side, not paying attention just for the fact that they don't want to admit that they were wrong?
That's the thing. That's why I bravo to this young lady, because she actually leads by example in admitting she was wrong and that it's okay. And I welcome you, this gal, with open arms. I welcome her with open arms. Let's just go ahead and play this real quick.
9 years ago, this was me. I was 17 years old and I was protesting Donald Trump at a rally.
So you can't see her. She is protesting Donald Trump at a rally. 17 years old, just manipulated, influenced, drank the Kool-Aid. She's literally holding a big sign here with Trump with the no smoking sign in it. But hear what she's got to say. It's beautiful.
I'm making this video so hopefully you can realize that it's okay to admit that you were wrong.
Wow.
A lot of us fell victim to the media's lies, and a lot of us hated Donald Trump. You could see that I had a very articulate message and logic and reasoning behind my hatred for the man. No, Trump. Trump bad. I encourage all of you to watch the pinned video on this account, Tim Pool's interview with Donald Trump, where he talks about how he wants to bring peace to the world. I know I want peace. I'm sure that you want peace. I know back then I wanted peace, but I was hoodwinked, tricked, lied to, and deceived by the media. Don't be afraid to let go of your ego and admit that you were wrong. Our country depends on it. Last night, we all saw a strong man stand up after being pew-pewed in the face. Don't be a coward. We cannot grow as a country if everyone is scared to say what they're thinking.
Right.
And make sure you're actually thinking. Here, I was not thinking. I was believing. You cannot think and believe at the same time.
Beautifully said.
Wow.
Very, very strong. That's the thing. Like, people feel it's harder to stay based in falsehoods and keep your pride and ego intact. Like, frick pride and ego.
Right.
Like, there's another beautiful black woman here that takes another similar stance. I'm not finding it though. Here, give me a second. Let's play this one too, because she goes about it in a whole different way. So we'll stay away from these negative clips. Like, we could play them, and it really does highlight that this is, oh, here she is, that this is nothing shy of a spiritual warfare, because these other ones we could play, individuals literally calling for the assassination of a man. And one of these gentlemen, when asked, why do you hate Trump so bad? He literally, the only thing he could come up with was the vulgar saying about grabbing by the, you know what. And obviously that's like all the speeches and things Trump's even said since then about that, as though you've never said something you regret, you know, as though you're casting stones as though you are a perfect man. And but that's all you have, and you want him dead over it. Like, that is insanity. You belong in a straitjacket, my man. You're publicly saying it. So that's what I want people to grasp, but don't focus too much on that darkness. What it should prove to us is there is a creator. There is a way. This perfect multitude of books is our roadmap. Jesus Christ truly was a living example for us all to follow on a straight and narrow path that doesn't lead to our torment. Yes, it's a challenging path, but it leads to peace, happiness, a meaningful existence, and fulfilling our purpose in this existence, which we are all just visiting. Let's play this clip. I love it. So this isn't even shooting relating. She's just, for the first time, tuning into the RNC. And she's realizing for the first time that she's been hoodwinked. She's been duped her whole freaking life.
Yep.
And it's so beautiful to see that we got to break down these barriers. Anyway, hear it from her words.
Woo, this world that we're living in right now feels like upside down land.
Yes.
I've been a Democrat for nearly 50 years.
Wow.
Why am I crying over the Republican National Convention? Like, Amber Rose did a beautiful job. Oh, she did a beautiful job. I'm so proud of her. And then all the diversity and just, I think I'm crying because it's cognitive dissonance. Like, what is going on? I've been told my whole life Republicans are just all, white and racist men and all of this. I don't think I've probably ever watched a Republican National Convention. Let's start there. You don't know unless you go see for yourself and stop listening to what people tell you. It's just so beautiful. The patriotism, the coming together. I'm telling you, if you on the outside and you think MAGA is this horrible thing, I don't know what to tell you besides you have to see for yourself. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. The coming together of America saying no more, no longer. We're not going to do this. We're not going to divide ourselves. We are red, white, and blue.
I just love it so much. I want to give her a big hug. There is hope for humanity yet. You could tell she's really emotionally impacted, but that's moving. And that's important. Like, evil's so effective and cunning and wise in ways, but to spew poison in such a way, in such pretty beautiful ways, imposing as though he's God himself, and people are drinking it up and willing to sell their souls for mortal gain and all these things, and it's just
And she's right, man. You don't have a clue. My wife and I were talking about this the other day. Different stuff, basically the same thing. It's like, look, when I research a subject, when I research something someone says, when I'm looking to learn, like really learn, I want to know what everyone has to say. People who are for it, people who are against it, people who are neutral, people who don't necessarily have a giant opinion about it. I want to know what everyone has to say, because then I can facts and I can say, okay, I feel this way. I believe this way, because then I've done my responsibility. I've researched information. I've come to a decision for myself. I haven't just been told this is the way something is. You want to see something crazy? You mentioned this.
That's sound advice, man.
So
what's crazy? Let's see it. See it.
So I know you're not going to be able to see all this, but you see that?
Oh, wow. A little Post-it note.
No, you know what that is? I do this all the time. That's Ephesians 6, 11, and 12. You know when I wrote that? I wrote that over a week ago.
Wow.
And you know what you just brought up in this conversation? Ephesians 6, 11, and 12 about the armor of God. And that we're fighting demonic forces in this freaking world. And it's literally sitting right here, right by the phone that I'm talking on.
Wow.
And all this stuff is if you still don't believe, all you gotta do is take a look at the world.
Right.
Just the world, man. Like, gosh, that lady is so right. And people, I know we talked about this before too. It's comfort. People allow themselves to be lied to because it's comfort.
Right.
Life isn't about comfort, man. This life is about growth. Growth hurts.
Yes.
Hurt. When you were a kid and you were going from 12 to 13 and you grew 4 inches in a summer, it hurt. You know what I mean? But you do it. When you lift weights, it hurts. But on the other side, you're better for it. When you sit down and you absorb a book and you try to read a book, something meaningful, something deep, your brain hurts. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be uncomfortable. And that's when you hit that barrier and you progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you got to know, like that lady said, man, you got to know all sides. Like, you got to decide for yourself. You got to go see it. Go talk to someone. Go seek information.
Right.
How many people aren't doing that now?
It's such a great point, because there was even one thing, a few other quick points to address and on the actual event that took place, and then let's try to wrap up a bit the big picture on what you're hitting the nail on there. But some people, they don't understand firearms even, and being grazed by a bullet, or if potentially it was a frag piece of glass or something. I mean, to be determined. But the simple fact, some people are taking a stance like, right, really, yeah, this round, like a round from a AR, whether it's a 223 or 5.56, and showing a picture of the bloody ear and his ear still intact. It's like, you don't understand being grazed. Like that could have been a 50 caliber, and grazing, it's going to have the same impact as being grazed as a BB gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, to an extent, right? Like, but once you actually get into physical matter, like, there's going to be a great difference between the different calibers, so people need to be doing their research, right? Like, it's crazy that people
saying this is why we can't have guns. Everybody needs to give them all up to the government. I can't wait for it. I know they're coming.
Well, man, that is one thing I even had queued up, where poor Canadians like Trudeau and his tyranny and the gun grab actually coming soon. Like, there's this whole, it happens there. It happens more places. It's just going to be that much more easier for it to happen here. We got to support our Canadians with the tyrannical grab that's happening, because once they're disarmed, we're neighbors, folks. We need them armed. We do, against their tyrannical, oppressive government body.
Yeah.
So be sure to check the link below, because we don't have time to play this, but it is downright scary what they're going to do there. And to those that may be still anti-scared gun, there was a Chinese woman that Mike drops that conversation. Well, we should add that link into here, because she basically asks some state official or government official, like, can you guarantee my sovereignty, my freedom, my safety if we give up the guns? And he could not. So then the gun conversation's over. It's over. It's over right there. You cannot guarantee my sovereignty, my freedom in giving you my firearms. Then it's over. And that is the point behind it all. Like, we must maintain that. Anyway, so regarding a couple things on this event.
Okay.
Do we even know how many people attended? I've tried to get a number, but I keep just finding thousands. So I want people to wrap their mind around something here. There's something beautiful that took place with an actual shooting and an event with the president, in fact, even being hit, where the shooter unfortunately got to one of our fellow Americans. Once again, our heart goes out. And if there's anything a Muzzle Chat could do, if you want to come on this platform, I welcome any of the family. Condolences. But what's crazy to me was the reaction of the crowd. There have been smaller groups of people with smaller threat event happens where stampedes and hundreds of people die. Like, a lot of people die. Didn't seem to be the case here. The people reacted just peacefully, sanely, respectfully, and that's beautiful to see. I'm so grateful this didn't magnify into a more horrific event.
Yeah. It's a great, even heard stories about, the ER doctor or whatever after the gentleman behind Trump was shot, going over there, saying, hey, as soon as I saw him go down, I went over there to try to help. I realized that I couldn't at that moment because he was already deceased, but I I went over there. That's a selfless act. You know what I mean? Because that guy doesn't know what the heck's going on. That's a guy that, that's a person who's dedicated to what he does at saving people. You know what I mean? Like that's how we should be. We should be dedicated to whatever craft we have, and then at the end of the day, man, we're people. Realistically, this one person tried to help another person. That's what it all comes down to, man.
Right. Yeah, that is beautiful. Another thing I want to touch on and call out, I want our liberties and privacies back, full stop, period. Period. The end. Full stop. Because, I mean, think about it. In my eyes, they should 100% stop spying on us, Americans. Period. Why? I mean, they said that, with the FISA warrant and all these things, like all these agencies, they're doing on behalf to like protect us, but they're too busy going after moms because they're speaking out at school boards that are going against the agenda of the establishment. They're lying to our faces as to actually going after and eliminating threats. 100%. It was clear as day between all the shooters that they don't want to put on mainstream media or they've tried manipulating the information even on because they had some woke trans whatever and it fed into more of like same reason MK Ultra type tactics. It didn't fit their agenda. So the fact of the matter is it's not working.
Right.
They infringing upon our privacy to eliminate these threats before anything happens. It's not working. It's all propaganda. It's all smoke and mirrors. They're saying they need this access to protect us, but they're not doing it. And they're using that access tyrannically against us. They're creating the gun list. They're creating the Trump voter list. It's gaining access for other nefarious reasons. We need our sovereignty and privacy back, full stop, period, after an event like this, hands down. That's clear as day.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. You know what? But they did the same thing as they're doing now. Let's wrap this. I think we talked about this too. Let's put this in a beautiful Christmas present and wrap it and put some bows on it and stick it under the tree for you. Hey, look what we're going to do for you. Isn't this so great? Oh, we're going to monitor everything. We're going to look at everything. You're going to be so safe. We're going to take care of this. We're going to take care of that. But just like you said, we found one. It's that mom at the PTA in rural Iowa. She's causing problems. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Like, yeah, okay. You're right. Right. But again, that was the ruse of the day. And that was the agenda that was passed because that was what was told to the masses was going to keep us patriotic and safe. Well, if no one's got anything to hide, we should all know everything. Well, it's great. Right. So I agree 100%, man. It's 100%.
Well, it's a wild time. It really is a historical time in history. It's like buckle up, because we know some crazy things are going to, happen.
Yep.
But we could minimize the collateral damage, the negative impacts by, that's what's beautiful on those two clips. Like they now see it, they understand. Now, yes, on all ends, are there some extreme people on the right? Sure. Yeah, they're too ramped up. They're too emotionally schooled. Evil's been playing all different sides. We need to see past that and unite and see the bigger picture, see the bigger threat. Yeah. And the root of it is spiritual warfare. And I don't know how much this is going to apply, but I did throw a bookmark in here, and I think it was the YouVersion Bible app Bible verse for yesterday.
Okay, where are we at?
But it's Psalm 40, 1, 2. I might even read 3. Let's just read where till we feel is good. But it states, I waited. What's that?
Psalm 40.
Psalm 41, 2. And ours might differ because this is the Every Man's Bible. I believe it's NLT. NLT.
Hey, Bible. When the Lord called me back to him, that's the first Bible I got.
Good stuff. But it states, I waited patiently for the Lord to help me, and he turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the pit of despair, out of the mud and the mire. He set my feet on solid ground and steadied me as I walked along. He has given me a new song to sing, a hymn of praise to our God. Many will see what he has done and be amazed, and they will put their trust in the Lord. It is such a gift. It is such a blessing. That right there is his promise to us, that if we seek him in full earnest, like meekness, let go of our pride and ego. I'm telling you, like all I can say is from personal experience. It's been my greatest gift in this existence: full peace, clarity, a mission. He set me on this path. I know we're making difference. I wish we were making a bigger difference and the platform was a lot bigger than what it is, but I know we're making a difference nonetheless, and I'm grateful for that. I do hope that the listeners grasp the difference we all can make. And like Michael so eloquently put earlier, that just that kind of butterfly effect, you just never know that one individual and the network of connection, how far that's going to go. Let's just challenge ourselves to show up. Do you want to speak out on that verse at all, man? That actually kind of aligned better than I thought was going to, which tends to be the case with the Bible.
Yep. I mean, I saw you open it and I was like, oh, I wonder what the Lord's telling me to read. But man, that's a great verse. And, it's
solid ground. We need it so badly.
Yeah, it feels like we're just walking on an earthquake every day, doesn't it? And if you look at it like that and you see that the Lord can just take us and say, hey, stand here.
Yeah.
Stand, and that ground will be solid. You'll be safe right here. Yeah. It's fantastic, man. I know I shared the story, but I feel the same way as you, man. Once we all go through our challenges and we all go through our times, but I've seen so much.
Yeah.
And I've had so many unexplained things in my life that have happened within the last however many years. And man, don't get me wrong, we're all human, right? You know what I mean? Like sometimes days go by and I have to walk around and say, you know what, Lord, not my will, yours, not my will, yours, not my will, yours. You know what I mean? Like we're all human, dude. I could never go back. I could never go back. I could never stop believing, and I could never lose enough faith to even believe that it wasn't a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how bad the day gets or how bad the week is or how bad, whatever we're going through is, it sucks and you got to go through it. You know what I mean? But, the harder you into it, the more peace you're going to have. And sometimes, man, you got to go through that. It's a refining process, dude. I think the Bible, iron sharpens iron. But
yes.
To get that done, you got to slam iron against iron, right? And that's not a delicate process. You know what I mean?
Right.
But man, this is solid conversation again, dude. I'm really glad that
it was.
Hop in on
and
this
has
one.
Been
Another like freaking 2 hours we're sitting here talking.
An hour, 22 minutes, Michael. It's no joke. It flies by.
Yep.
So, man, with that being said, I'm so grateful for you to show up and have this discussion. I feel enlightened and blessed due to it. And I just really hope that we had that type of impact on our listeners today, because as dark as all this is, like there's a great opportunity, right? And if we get placed on that firm ground, we're going to have a clear direction. In fact, God will gift you in such a way that you won't fear mortal death anymore, that you now fear spiritual death, which is a whole nother level. And so now you're just gifted with peace, clarity, happiness, and in your heart shifts to where even against like our enemies, we can foster a level of love. You know, we'll still forever hate the sin, and we hate evil, and we hate how it, you know, impacts people and all the needlessly suffering in this life, because we see if we could beat back evil effectively enough, there'll be a lot less suffering. And I feel, especially as men, we're called to do just that. So let's try to up our resilience, up our health, up the calls to action, start heading in the right directions. And whether we right the ship in this life or not is irrelevant. It's important that we just fulfill everything we just talked about there. So unless you have any other burning desires, I'm going to go ahead and plug some of our affiliates and wrap this episode up.
Sure. I love the conversation. Anyone looking for a good security detail? Security
President Trump. President Trump, reach on out.
Reached out. You know what I mean?
My gosh. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I mean, clearly he's in need. And I know there's a lot of people that'd be willing to take a bullet for him for free even, you know, but he just needs the proper trained, and it doesn't hurt to have additional backups, even, private security to walk through what the basically double check what the Secret Service has already done, just to make sure like that's wise at this point. I mean, being the biggest target in this world today, that would be wise.
Yep. I agree.
Okay. Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us. I sure enjoyed talking to Michael here, freaking private security contractor expert. He clearly knows his stuff. Let's start taking more steps and take action. We're seeing more and more people go over to Patriot Mobile. Frankly, not enough of us are taking that course of action. And I'm scratching my head yet again as to why. Because they're the only Christian conservative network out there. You can obtain a level of security and privacy through them. You could potentially save money and also might even get better cellular coverage. So I don't know what you're waiting for. Stop funding the enemy. Start funding a group that is fighting on behalf of our freedoms. We don't know what's around the corner. You could see grave threats. And with the floodgates opened, with information getting out there, such as podcasts like this, EMP threats seem to be a greater and greater threat to stop us from getting the truth out. Make sure you're not caught stranded with a dead vehicle because of an EMP. What are you going to do? All your other preparations could be rendered pretty much paperweights, because at that point, you can only take what you could carry on your back. Just don't be caught in that situation. At minimal, get an EMP shield for at least one vehicle per family. If you're able to get one for your home, get one for your home as well, or your solar system if you got it. You get $50 off every single one of their products through the link below. Other than that, the most important things we could do, period, is upping our health. I've had great breakthrough through Bond Charge, through their infrared sauna blanket, and detoxifying heavy metals and poisons throughout my body. I attribute great breakthrough from the Lyme disease, this bioweapon. And you can get 15% off their products right now. That's over $100 off their infrared sauna blanket. Click the link below, and we will end on that. Go to Black Eagle Apparel, get your unmuzzled chat tee today. We really need your support. I mean, we don't have a Patreon program, but if you feel called to help us keep the lights on and continue what we're doing, we do have a Buy Me a Coffee, a direct Venmo, Cash App, even a GoFundMe. Any little amount will help us. And the more we actually get, we'll be able to provide better content and really fire things up. hopefully start marketing and really get this thing blown up to have more of a positive impact. I hope you could see as to the value we're adding and the intent behind everything. So more than anything, we appreciate your support and we appreciate your shares. God bless you. God bless America. Till next time, take care.